So, in my last video where I talked about how the hardware sales of the PlayStation 5 Pro 30th edition, 30th anniversary limited edition has obliterated all of these so-called PlayStation fans that constantly tell you that you need to spend all this money to build a gaming PC that's going to do what the PlayStation 5 or PS5 Pro can do, which is proven to be a big lie. I mean, I literally built a $650 build that beats the PlayStation 5 hands down, and just with maybe one tune-up or maybe not even touching it, will probably beat the PS5 Pro in terms of comparisons for performance, because the PlayStation 5 Pro is touting performance as its new offering to players. Even though the PS5 did that and failed at that, we kind of know exactly what these console companies have been selling us now that we've seen these games. Basically challenge them to see what they can do. Now, when I made that video, somebody was like, no, man, what you're seeing is that the scalpers bought these particular consoles and are selling them now for $2,000 to $3,000 on eBay. So I went to eBay and I was like, okay, are they messing with me or is this for real? And it is for real. If you look here, people are looking to buy this stuff. This particular item here has had about 257 people view it in the last 24 hours. I looked up another one, and this one has had over 600 people look at it. It's about $2,800. Then this one was one that shocked me. Somebody sold one of them in the last 24 hours. Oh my gosh. Somebody paid almost $4,000, except they're going to return this stuff later. eBay is showing that this person had, more than one on this particular, more than one, listed for sale, and one has been sold. And that's the interesting part about this particular, conversation, is that people actually want to buy this stuff and want to spend humongous amounts of money on this particular platform. I also saw a few questions from some of my audience members. They're asking, should we buy the PS5 Pro? Should we keep our PS5? The whole thing is up to you, to be very honest. I'm not here to tell you, that you should or shouldn't buy something. However, I can show you that the value proposition from this PS5 Pro device does not match the cost that they're asking you for. They're asking you for an extra $200. The performance itself is not even worth that much, because there's a way you actually gauge and measure price to performance. Price to performance is a very interesting metric that has been used by PC players for many, many years. And PlayStation is coming into the segment telling you as a console player that, hey, man, we can give you improved performance that is somewhere aligned to what the PC can do. Or at least this is what is being touted by those in the PlayStation, side of things. It's even somewhat touted by, maybe say outlets like Digital Foundry and all of the above, that, you can get these, performance metrics that are close to, and then they'll name things like maybe a downclocked 4070 or, something like a 4060, whatever it is that they're saying. And I think this is something that a lot of people now have to take into account, because this really changes the conversation. And then even with these 30th edition versions, oh my gosh, it even makes it even worse, because what level and what crazy is this that a cosmetic item of some kind that people think or consider is collectible is going to be worth almost $4,000. I don't know if the person sold that one that they have for about $4,000, but it seems there's a whale out here, and Sony knows that there's a whale out here that's going to spend and pay this money. Now, when I made my videos telling you that the PlayStation 5 Pro was a scam, a lot of people were saying, well, no, this and that and this and this. But now it's come to light that for the most part, you really have to take time to understand exactly what PlayStation 5 is actually proposing. And you will continue to see that as this PlayStation 5 Pro is getting jumped in price, the cost to build that same exact PC that I told you guys cost $650 has now dropped to about $620. At the time I made my more updated video, the cost was around $630. But now this particular CPU has dropped from about $89 when I first made this build video and also put the build together, all the way now down to $76. The price movement has been really interesting overall. And seeing all of this in real time, while they're asking you to pay $999 on the official side or $2,000, is absolutely interesting, because again, it continues to prove that for the most part, PlayStation is selling their console to you, even Xbox, on the premise that you do not know much about hardware. and they want you to go blow your money and be locked into their ecosystem, which doesn't give you the benefit. So again, all I can do is show you, hey, here is a better alternative in order for you to be able to enjoy your gaming. And for the most part, if you think about, say, some titles that are coming out pretty soon, like Monster Hunter Wilds, or even say if you want to play an older game that maybe you like that's been locked at 30 FPS to the consoles, it takes a lot for all of these consoles and publishers to figure out what they're doing before you maybe get a 60 FPS patch, unless, like say in the case of Xbox, where they have a program where, publishers can allow for them to pretty much unlock their FPS within the product itself. But on the PlayStation side, you're going to be getting like a very small performance boost, like maybe, I don't know, I think they said it's somewhere around 35%, or some people have measured it to be about 40-something%, and they want you to pay $200. And that to me is just asinine, when you can actually take a similar amount of money, 620, way less actually, not even similar amount of money. I mean, they're asking you for $699. For $620, you can pretty much build a PC that's going to be able to do some really good work that gives you an upgradable path. And if you wanted, the CPU that I keep talking about, the Ryzen 5 5500, is already better than the CPU inside of the PlayStation 5 and even the PS5 Pro, simply because it's a desktop CPU. And if you go in the market and you maybe, in a sense, say, okay, you know what, maybe I want to upgrade. Maybe I want to go to the Ryzen 5 5600 or whatever. You just spend a little bit more money, maybe like $30. Or if you want to do the 5600 and 5600X, inherently don't give you too much of a difference. And you can go ahead and you can just, spend very minimal to get that performance boost. But to be very honest, you may or may not see, too much in terms of an increase. And you are in a very solid spot. I have a PC with the same CPU and GPU specs. And I would love to test it with Monster Hunter Wilds. I want to see what this PC can actually do, because if this PC, shoots out like, 60 FPS on 1080 and it's responsive, man, it's going to be very interesting. Now, that game itself has its own challenges, but at the end of the day, you can see exactly where, the position of the PC player is coming from in this regard. Makes no sense for you to go buy yourself an updated console when you can just build a super, console, like what we call it. We call it like the PlayStation. How did another guy call it? A PlayStation PC, or a PC Pro is what one guy called it. Another guy calls it the Xbox Super Series X, because that's exactly what this stuff can do. But it's interesting all the way. I mean, at the end of the day, some people might still go ahead and, still buy it. That's your choice. But again, you're being scammed by PlayStation. That's what it is. That's what they want to do. They want to scam you. I don't know any other way to, put it. I don't know any other way to soften the blow. If you put your money on this particular product, it's all the fact that maybe you're a whale, you have money to spend your money as you please. But again, I cannot see the value proposition there, if you were to ask me. And that's my opinion, and not just my opinion, but looking at it from, say, the financial part, where there's a cost to performance ratio, PlayStation 5 Pro is not there. So that's my opinion. Thanks so much for watching the video. Appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.